feel like every week we have a little bit of technical difficulties. This week it was getting my new burner up, and then I'm still trying to get this to focus, and it seems like it's a little bit more focused today than it is usually. So let me get all of our screens pulled up here, give people a few minutes to join us. We are making Detroit almond chicken, sometimes known as Chinese almond chicken and sometimes known as ABC chicken, which stands for almond boneless chicken. And I'm going to tell you why it has all those names and why it's Detroit chicken here in a minute. Just want to pull this up on Facebook, make sure we're all good so I can see comments coming in. There we go. The picture there. Okay. So if you're here, give me a thumbs up, give me a heart, tell me where you're from, tell me what the weather's like. We are having another really bad, crappy winter day here in Maryland. It was snowing like gangbusters all morning, and it's finally starting to slow down, thankfully. And we're supposed to be up to like 50 or 56 degrees the rest of the week. It's amazing to me how fast it all changes. Okay. Nobody's here with us. That makes me sad. I have 8 people. You 8 people, please say hi. Tell me where you're from. Just give me a thumbs up. Give me something. Something to work with here. Something. Okay, we're getting started, even though no one's paying attention. So Detroit almond chicken. I took the liberty of going ahead and starting this one because you need to marinate the chicken in sherry cooking wine for about 30 minutes before you start to the rest of the recipe. You don't want it to go too long because sherry is a very potent flavor. It's very acidic and it has a wonderful aroma. If you've never cooked with it before or drank it, it's really good. But you don't want it to be so overpowering that it takes over the chicken. The acid in it will also help break it down, tenderize it a little bit. These are chicken breasts, and you want them to be flat. It's kind of like making a chicken cutlet. You want it to be pretty thin. So you can buy thin cut chicken at the grocery store, which is what I did. And these are actually really super small. It was the only package that they had. I probably would prefer, see how thin they are? I don't know if you guys can see that. I would prefer actually having my own chicken breasts and tenderizing them with a meat mallet to have them just be a tiny bit thicker than these are, but some days you just got to work with what you got. And this is what we have. So we're going to do super thin little pieces of chicken. Let me get this out of the way so you can see it. These are seasoned with salt and pepper, and then they've been sitting in sherry for probably about close to 45 minutes now, which is generally longer than I would do it. They're going to still continue to sit there. I just want to give you a heads up of where we were, and we are going to make the gravy first, which is a mushroom gravy. And I will tell you about the dishes today. We're going to make a little bit of a slurry first, which is cornstarch and water. So Detroit almond chicken has kind of a funny history. And all honesty, I was really surprised. I'm almost out of cornstarch. It's about 4 tablespoons. I probably have a little bit less, so we might have to add some arrowroot or something else to thicken up the gravy. Detroit almond chicken, I was surprised everybody picked because it's really a regional dish. And the only time I get a lot of traffic on it is when something like Food Network or Cooking Channel does This Best Dish Here. And this is water. And they do Detroit almond chicken. And I had one of my friends from Detroit say, I've never even heard of this. What is it? So I have 2 good friends from Detroit area, Willis and Natalie. And Willis used to own a Chinese food restaurant, him and his family, in the Detroit area. And Natalie used to live there. One of the things that she loved, other than egg rolls, she loved her egg rolls, and I'll tell you the secret ingredient is peanut butter. Yep, peanut butter and egg rolls. Was Detroit almond chicken, and I had never heard of it. So one day, Willis's brother Jim was coming in from Michigan, and he flew with styrofoam containers of Detroit almond chicken so I could try it. And I was like, this really isn't much Chinese food at all. It's fried chicken with a mushroom gravy. And he's like, I know, but everybody there loves it. And the Chinese food places, they serve it. But it's only in Detroit. It's a regional dish. I was like, I can do this. So one day, I had a cook-off. Willis and I, we cooked it up. And guess whose recipe won? Mine. So this Detroit almond chicken recipe is apparently very authentic for the regional dish. I would not ever classify it as authentic Chinese food if it was me, but that's just where we're going with it. Okay. St. Lucia, oh my goodness, you must have beautiful weather. I am completely jealous that you are in St. Lucia. That is where my husband and I honeymooned when we got married. Loved it. Haven't been back since, but I would love to come back. Maybe I'll come visit you. Hi, Katie. Katie, where are you coming from? Okay. I have to look at my instructions here because sometimes I even forget exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so I did the cornstarch in the water, and I'm going to start to heat together my chicken broth. Some people are like, you don't know your own recipes? Well, I do, but I have 1,600 recipes on Savory Experiments. That is a lot of recipes to know by heart. And do I know exactly the amounts in each one of those 1,600 recipes? No. And I look this over, Facebook Live is a little bit more casual than actually filming. I look these over before I get started. I make sure I have the ingredients, but I don't always have them 100% memorized. I will be the first one to tell you that. So hopefully this overhead camera is a little bit more in focus today. It looks like it is, so that's good. We've got 3 cups of chicken broth. I'm just using a carton of broth instead of making it from bouillon. That's fine too, or if you have some homemade chicken broth. This isn't the recipe that I would say use your homemade chicken broth on because it's not like it's not worth it. It's going to be good, but you don't need really good chicken broth for this one. And next we are going to turn this on. So this is our new burner. I'm really excited about it. It doesn't make a funny noise when I light it up because it's butane. I just can't really see the flame. I think it's all good. These are shiitake mushrooms. You can use plain white button mushrooms. You can use whatever you want. About 8 ounces, give or take. If you don't like mushrooms, you don't even have to add them. Slice them thin, clean them a little bit. Cleaning mushrooms, use a wet paper towel and just wipe them off. Don't put them under water. They'll start to disintegrate. We're not going to cook down the mushrooms before we add them to the gravy because we still want them to have that little bit of spongy texture. We want any of the liquids that are released from the mushrooms to release into the gravy to make it taste so amazing. California, raining. Guys, California, I have a foot of snow on the ground. California and St. Lucia rain. I would give it that any day of the year. My sister lives in California, Katie. She lives a little bit north of San Diego right now. She just moved from Brooklyn there. Okay, the next thing we need is our soy sauce. I use dark soy sauce for this recipe. Now I will tell you, there's a difference between light soy sauce, dark soy sauce, and regular soy sauce. So the one with the green cap is the one most people know, and this one is light soy sauce, meaning that it has less sodium and it tastes less salty. It's still a very liquidy soy sauce. The red top is a full flavored soy sauce, meaning it has full salt and full sodium. It packs a punch, but it is still kind of liquidy. If you're going for dark soy sauce, it's actually almost a syrup. It's a little bit thicker. It is not as salty, which more people would assume that it's like more of a pungent soy sauce, and it's not. It's actually less salty, and it has a little hint of molasses. I like a dark mushroom-flavored soy sauce, which goes perfectly with this recipe, but you know what? My grocery store was out of it. They were out of dark, and they were out of mushroom flavor. So we are going to make a swap, because that's what we do here in the Savory Experiments kitchen, is we teach everybody how to cook with what you got. And today I have light soy sauce. So I'm going to do 2 tablespoons, or probably about a tablespoon and a half, and I'm eyeballing this, because that's what I do when I'm cooking for myself. How many other people eyeball it? Give me a thumbs up on Facebook, or a heart on Instagram if you eyeball things. No one? I'm the only one? Okay, fine. Okay, so I am going to punch this up just a little bit with molasses. And I love the smell of molasses. Just a little bit here, not a ton. Probably like, okay, maybe that was more than I expected. That's about probably 2 teaspoons. We might have a sweet sauce here. But that is going to be my substitution for dark soy sauce. And now you know the difference. Okay, closing up the molasses. Now I'm molasses all over my fingers. Next I need butter, which I forgot to get out of the fridge. Hold on 1 second. 2 tablespoons unsalted butter. You want to make sure it's unsalted because your soy sauce has a lot of salt in it. And like I always tell everybody, you can put more salt in. You cannot take that salt out. I'd much rather be able to add more salt and season later than have to take it back a few notches and have it be inedible. Because we all know that that's how it gets when it's salty. I'm going to turn this up a little bit. How many people like mushrooms? People either love mushrooms or hate mushrooms. I know a few people that really hate them. I love them. It's earthy. I like the texture. Almost meaty. Absolutely delicious. You could also have fun with using a combination of mushrooms in this gravy if you wanted to. If you wanted to get super fancy. Anybody else? Okay, I have 14 people watching. Of the 14 people watching, can you all give me a thumbs up? Give me thumbs up or give me hearts, because I'm not feeling the love here. Not many people are talking to me. I know one of them is my mom, because she's in the car driving home from my house over the weekend. Okay. Still stirring, still stirring. This one's one of our longer recipes. Last week, our Parmesan chicken went kind of pretty fast. And remember, guys, you can catch these again. I post the videos to the recipe page and to our Facebook, so you can watch them again, especially if you missed them. I'm going to wait until this comes to a little bit of a simmer. It's getting there. I can hear it. You might not be able to on the webcam. Yay, hearts! Thank you. Somebody's giving me a little bit of love here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Need some love. We all just need love. I'm also realizing that my hair looks horrible. You live mushrooms or you love mushrooms, Kelly? I'm going to say you love mushrooms. I'm realizing my hair looks horrible. Sorry about that, guys. On snow days like this, hairstyles aren't exactly at the top of my list. We also had a new recipe go live today, Pomodoro sauce. You should go check it out. An easy, quick 15-minute Pomodoro. Straight from Tuscany, from back when we used to be able to travel. I know, it's hard to believe we used to be able to travel. Okay, we're at a low simmer. Grab my whisk. I'm going to turn down this heat to super low. Give my slurry here another whisk because the cornstarch settled to the bottom. And I'm going to pour it on in. And this will thicken it up. So we have a mushroom. It's almost like a clear gravy. I like a regular brown gravy like it. And I can feel the resistance on my whisk already. It'll continue to thicken, so I'm not going to keep it on the heat for too long past right now because I know that while it settles, it'll thicken. So if you can see here, these mushrooms, they're still pretty whole. They're a little cooked, but they're still spongy. I want to have some texture. I like having a little bit of toothy texture. I don't want it to get to the point where it's just meh, because then you lose mushroom. What's the point of a mushroom gravy if you're not actually going to be able to feel the mushrooms? Okay, I'm going to set this in the back here. Hold on. Oh, I'm going to get another pin. Actually, you know what? Let me move this because now our burner doesn't have, look, no cord. We can move it out of the way. And then I can move other stuff in here, as you can see it now. Ha-ha! Look at that, guys. Look at that. So now we're going to dredge our chicken. First, we need plates. We're going to put some flour on it. This recipe calls for about 6 tablespoons, which is a little bit more than a third of a cup. So that's what I'm going to do, is just kind of a heaping third of a cup. Mix it around in there. I also need the same amount for the batter, and the batter is going to go in this one. Oddly enough, I use pie plates for everything. I love pie plates. They're great for marinating, they're great for dredging, flouring, breading, all the stuff. And all of mine are dirty except for that one. How does that even happen? On the day that I need them. Okay, this one needs to be seasoned with salt and pepper. Got some kosher salt. I'm going to be coming up with a series on salts, so stay tuned for that. If you're always like, why kosher salt? What's the difference between that and table salt? And what's the difference between sea salt and kosher salt, or Maldon salt, or Fleur de Sel? I will teach you all about that, and always use freshly ground pepper because regular pepper tastes like sawdust. Doesn't have much flavor at all. I'm going to mix that up real quick. So here we go, seasoned flour. The reason you do flour before you do the wet mixture is that if you don't, the wet mixture won't stick to the chicken. I'm sure you guys have experienced that before. That pepper is about to make me sneeze. Okay, now we've got this, our dredging. We're going to use a half a teaspoon of baking powder. The baking powder is what's going to make this fluffy. So this fried chicken isn't a super bready fried chicken. It's almost like a beer batter, but without the beer. So I'm going to do a half a teaspoon and then 2 eggs. This batter gets fluffy, light, when it goes into the oil to fry. I'm going to get my eggs. These are jumbos, giant. I don't know how we got to look like dinosaurs. Ooh! We had a little flour bomb go off there, didn't we? We might need a little bit more flour. These look like dinosaur eggs. As my daughter would say, dinosaur. Dinosaur eggs. Hands off. Need to get a little bit more flour. Oh, flour. Okay, so now whisk this together. It's going to be thick, and you want it to be thick. You want it to really stick to that chicken. But if it's so thick that you can't even dredge, you can add a little bit of milk or a little bit of water. You got that? This is in focus, very focused. There we go. Got it. This is a little too thick. We are going to add a touch of milk. Let me grab that from the refrigerator. That really just depends on the gluten in your flour, but also the size of your eggs. Adding milk. What else do we have here? Love mushrooms. Kelly, I thought you did. Kelly, love mushrooms too. And you guys would like this dish. It's a great dish. I don't know why it hasn't caught on other places. It's so funny to me that it is such a Detroit thing, but it really just is, and it's never ventured beyond Detroit. Okay, so we have this nice batter. It kind of looks like a beer batter, but it's not a beer batter. I'm going to get all this stuff out of the way. And next, we are going to work with our chicken. Got to get my paper towels. Hold on. Okie doke. I'm going to take them out of the sherry. The sherry has discolored them just a little bit from all that acid. It's not a big deal, and it doesn't mean that they're bad or anything. It just means they've been in there a little bit longer than the 30 minutes the recipe calls for. I just want to get them a little bit dry. Otherwise, when I put them in that flour, they're going to make their own paste, their own batter. We don't need that. We're pat and dry. Dry chicken. They've soaked up all that sherry flavor and the aroma, and that's really what makes this chicken special. I might need a few more paper towels. I need an actual film crew so you guys can follow me around the kitchen when I go places. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? Maybe someday. A girl can dream. Oh, flopping chicken everywhere. I'm trying not to touch the paper towels so that I don't have to also go wash my hands without you guys following me over to wash my hands. Hookily dokilies. Now we are going to take these somewhat dry pieces of chicken and put them in the flour, the seasoned flour. Get a nice coating on there. go. I'm going to set that aside. I'm only going to do 2 today to give you a good sense of what we're doing because you don't need to sit here and watch me fry chicken constantly. That's not very fun. And quite frankly, I've already told you the good part of the story. There's another gossipy rumor part of the story that I can tell you while we're frying the chicken, but other than that, there's not much more to talk about it. Okay, so we're going to do those 2. Take my whisk out. I'm making a mess, that's what I'm doing. Oh, sorry, I took that away from the... There we go. And we're going to put them in this egg mixture. See how thick it is? It's like cake batter. Flip them. And flip them again. Flip. That needs another flip. Flip, flip, flip. Get rid of these items quick. I'm running out of counter space. I need more counter space. And we're going to bring back our burner. Here we go, our fancy new burner. Get that right in the middle there for you. Got all sorts of stuff going on here. And light it. Look at that. My handle of oil here. No luck. You can use vegetable oil too. Anything that has a high smoke point is a perfectly acceptable thing to use. This is not a dish that you would be able to do in the air fryer. So I've had people ask that before. Anything with a wet batter like this doesn't work in the air fryer because the moment you put it in the air fryer basket, all of the batter just goes. We need something thick, like if you're going to use a batter. Like I just did churros in the air fryer, that works because it's a very thick dough that you can pipe out and holds its shape. But anything that is a beer battered, anything won't work. A breading works, but a batter will not work. And I'm not using my thermometer here. I should get that out. Hold on 1 second. Find it. I don't even know where it is. Don't fry without a thermometer. Every once in a while I try to do it and wing it, and inevitably it goes wrong and it's not the right temperature, and then I regret it, and it really just wasn't worth it. So we're going to get the heat up to about 325, which is where we hit the deep frying phase. And while I'm doing that, these aren't going to take long to cook because they're so thin. While it's getting up to that temperature, I'll tell you the other gossipy story. So I have no idea if this is true or not. No clue. But our friends from Detroit told us that back in the day when all these Chinese food, this one Chinese food restaurant started making Detroit almond chicken, and it took off. Everybody was coming for it. So he gave their proprietary recipe to other Chinese food restaurants, but he collected a fee every week. It was like the mafia coming around to give protection. You had to pay a fee every week if you were going to use the famous Detroit chicken recipe. I think that's funny. I have no idea if that's true. But it makes for a good talking point, right? Okay, let's see if anybody else has joined us. A bunch of people that like mushrooms. I like mushrooms too. Did anybody do anything fun this weekend? We'll talk about something else while this oil heats up. Anybody? Bueller? I painted a room. For those of you guys who don't know, we are getting ready to renovate 3 rooms at our house at the same time. It is going to be insane. And I'm still going to do Facebook Lives, but I'm going to do them from our makeshift kitchen, so it'll probably be a ton of fun to watch. I should have heated this oil up ahead of time. I apologize. I'm going to be doing Instapot, slow cooker, I don't know, maybe even, I don't know what I'm going to do. We'll figure it out as we go. No cook, no bake, I don't know. You'll get to see what I'm cooking. I'm going to be posting it on Instagram stories and Facebook stories, the whole process of the kitchen renovation and also how I'm doing for 8 weeks in a makeshift kitchen that is in my dining room with 2 small children. It would be fun. So over the weekend, I painted a room that is going to be our new laundry room on the 2nd floor, and was a not so lovely color of yellow, at least for me, because my undertones of my skin are yellow. It makes me look a little yellow. So I painted it gray, and the reason I painted it ahead of time is because there's cabinets going in there, and I didn't want to have to paint it after the cabinets go in. It's really exciting. What else did you guys do? You're remodeling a bathroom. What colors are you doing, Kelly? I'm going to do my powder room next, I'm pretty sure. Once you get the remodeling bug, like you can't stop. Now I have this huge list of projects. I'll probably change my mind after I'm... Hi, Susan in Connecticut. Susan, you and I are always chatting. It's good to see you. Glad you could make it. You love gray? Yeah, I do too. Everything's great. Can you guys guess what color this kitchen's going to be? I bet you can't guess. It's going to be white and gray. And blue. Blue. Seafood green or seafoam green? Because I do like seafood, but I think you mean seafoam, Kelly. Which would be good. I like seafoam. It's a nice color. In fact, I think our master, I might do an accent of like a seafoam green or a teal. I love teal and turquoise. But yeah, the main kitchen, we're going to do grays and whites. And it's going to be so pretty. And I think I announced a couple of weeks ago that our main sponsor is Blue Star Appliances. You can you can design your own range. Guys, my range is blue. It is so pretty. It's steel blue. It should be delivered any day now. I am in love with it. And I'm also in love with this because now it's time to fry up our chicken. So like I said before, these aren't going to take very long because these are the tiniest little Susan, you're working. I'm working too. See? With earbuds. Gotcha. So these aren't going to take, I'm sure you can see them now, how thin they are. These aren't going to take very long to fry at all. Throw them in there. I do like using a thermometer, a deep fry thermometer when I do stuff like this because it helps me keep the oil at the right temperature. When you throw in a cold piece of chicken, I don't know if you can see this on the overhead, but the batter is already bubbling up from the eggs and the baking powder. Did I use, yeah, I used baking powder. It's like, wait a minute, what was supposed to be baking soda? So here I can already tell that my heat is going up. So I'm going to lower it because I don't want it to get too hot. And I'm going to find my cones. I already see them browning. You don't want it, and that's the other thing, people fry too fast. They want it to be hot enough that it starts to fry too fast, but if it fries too fast and it browns too fast, then the actual chicken won't have any time to cook. So it's a dance, if you will, trying to get to the point of being hot enough to brown, not too hot to burn, but letting the chicken cook. I'm getting that nice bubbling. It looks like it's starting to brown. You can reduce the heat a little bit just so that it doesn't go past the point of being good. These are starting to look pretty. You'll see them when I flip them over. So the next thing we're going to do, and I'll get this ready while these cook, is make the base. Most Chinese food uses rice as a base. Detroit almond chicken uses iceberg lettuce. I know, iceberg lettuce. Can you imagine? So iceberg lettuce used to just be for soaking up all of the grease in carryout containers. It wasn't even served on the dish if you ordered it in a restaurant, but people who had gotten it carryout in the restaurant when they go to eat started asking for lettuce because that's what they were used to. And the restaurants started to realize that people were eating the lettuce as part of the dish, even though that's not what the intention was. So they just started serving it with lettuce, and now it helps soak up some of the grease from the fried chicken. It's kind of like a salad now. I'm going to call it a salad. We're going to transfer this lettuce over here to our plate. I'm going to get this out of the way. More lettuce, right? Can't go wrong with more lettuce. Yummy, I know. The only original thing in the tub, and yes, it's seafoam green. That's so much fun, though. I love remodeling. Forgot to get my scallions out. Put this over here. Chicken's still going. Check my temperature, and it's going down, so I'm going to increase it a little bit. So this this recipe has 3 toppings that make it unique. Scallions, so you get a fresh crunch, also from the iceberg lettuce. Almonds, so you get a nutty crunch, and I like using sliced almonds as opposed to slivered almonds. And crispy rice noodles. Not rice noodles like you'd get to make a stir fry or even a pad thai, which, by the way, quite possibly the best pad thai sauce recipe ever is coming out in my new book. I cannot wait for you guys to taste it. I've made it like umpteen times since I developed it, and it's perfect. But the crispy ones, like the little ones that you put in a salad, chop up some scallions. Okay, those are ready to go. I'm just going to set these aside or up front, whatever you want to call it. If you were making more than one of these chickens, which I'm pretty sure you would be, I need to go a little bit more. Those are not browned at all. Or any fried food for that matter, when you take it out of the oil, so many people tell you to put it on a paper towel and drain it, and I might even do here too. No, I don't. Put it on a paper towel and drain it. Don't do that. The moment you put it on a paper towel and drain it, all of the grease absorbs into that paper towel, and it's going to make your chicken get soggy, and no one wants soggy chicken. That's gross. So instead, put it on a wire rack that's suspended on a baking sheet so that it's held up a little bit so that the grease can go down but not sog it up, and that way it'll stay nice and crispy. You can also keep it warm in the oven, like 150, 200. You don't want it so warm that it's going to continue to cook, but you want to keep it warm while you make the other pieces of chicken. Like there's a chicken nugget that fell off there. That looks really good. I'm tempted to do that. There we go. We got sliced almonds. You can use slivered almonds. If somebody has a nut allergy, just don't use them at all. And of course, chow mein noodles. Rice noodles, chow mein noodles. Oh no, these are just wheat. I thought these were rice noodles. Let me back that one. They are what they are. They're good. They're also a little bit salty, which is why we use that unsalted butter. They're cooking super fast at first, and now they're slowing down. Oh, my buttons. One of my buttons came undone. I had to have my sister here button me up right before I went on. Thanks. I've also got elbow patches. My daughter thinks that these are hilarious. She's like, Mom, why do you have elbow patches on your sweater? I don't know. I'm a professor. I just go like this. You eat these out of the can too. I love these. A little bit of sweet and sour sauce. I don't even know where I got this sweater, but like years ago, and I still love it. Okay, let's see how these are doing. Woo! That would have been bad. Flopping chicken, huh? Did I have that? Oh. Okay. Well, at some point, my burner turned off. And that is why the chicken is not cooking. I must have turned it down so low that I lost my heat source. So there you go. Everybody makes mistakes in the kitchen, even when your job is cooking in the kitchen. Note to self, see temperature drop, check burner. Now it's heating up fast again. Oopsie daisy. What's everybody having for dinner? I'd love to hear what you're having for dinner. You can tell me Detroit almond chicken. That'd be fun. Okay, we're coming back up again. Happens to the best of us, right? So now I have no idea how long all of the chicken's been in here. So a nice thick cut of chicken breast, like you'd get if you pounded out your own chicken breast. Probably about 5 to 7 minutes on each side. These were so thin, they were only going to be 2 to 3 minutes until I turned off the heat source. Now they're going to take just a little bit longer. They're starting to brown now, finally. Why didn't I check that to begin with? Silly, silly, silly. They do smell good, though. I can smell the sherry. The sherry is really what makes this recipe interesting, that and the gravy. There's a couple of elements that make it interesting. Nobody's telling me what you're eating for dinner tonight? Come on, guys. I know you got something good. Almost done. Almost done. It's light and fluffy. It's almost like a tempura batter, a little bit, kind of. Maybe, or a beer batter. You can also check the interior of the chicken to make sure it's 165. I'm trying another instant thermometer. My new kitchen will have better drawers too. Be able to find stuff easier. Go ahead and test these. Okay, and we're good. Now I am going to turn it off on purpose. Let me get a different plate. I don't want to leave it sitting in the oil since they've already been in there for so much longer than they usually would be. And I ripped my skin there. Okay. I am going to use a fork to remove this one because I don't want to rip the skin on it. Let that drain. Woo! A little bit of it. That's the chicken juice, kind of like water going into oil, and it's making that noise. We're going to put it over. I'm going to take this hot oil and remove it from my fork area here. And grab the gravy. So let me move this. And then you can see exactly what I'm doing. Make it center. There we go. Go like this, make it pretty. Okay, gravy. The gravy is a good thickness. I like to get more mushrooms. There we go. Next, scallions. Got green crunch. Chow mein noodles. More crunch. I'd probably put more on, to be 100% honest. And almonds. And there you go. You've got yourself Detroit almond chicken. And I'm going to, it's probably going to be a mistake. I'm going to take a bite of this, and I'm probably going to burn myself. But that's the kind of love I have for you guys, to tell you what it tastes like. I actually haven't made this in several years, so I'm looking forward to it. We'll be eating it tonight for our dinner. I want to get a bite of everything on there. I'm using my fingers. So I want a bite of almond noodle. And I love my chicken. The sherry in the chicken is so unexpected. You're expecting just good, crunchy, fluffy chicken, and I love this batter because it is crunchy and it's fluffy. And then you get a little bit of that sherry in there, and it's amazing. And the mushrooms, too. A whole bunch of flavors, a whole bunch of textures, and it all just works together. And it's a salad because it's on lettuce. What's not to love? Okay, guys. Detroit almond chicken. I will see you guys next week. I have no clue what I'm cooking yet. It'll probably be the last Monday that we're in the kitchen before the reno starts. I'll post a poll on Facebook and see what you guys want to say. So, from my kitchen to yours, make sure you try Detroit almond chicken. And don't forget, if you make any of our recipes, to come to the website and leave a comment or a rating. It helps me tremendously. And share. Have a great day. Ooh, curry shrimp. Boneless ribs. I'm coming to y'all's house. Okay. Have a good day, everybody. We'll see you next time.